Hello students. In our previous introductory video, we already have discussed a little bit about crisis. So let's, from a detailed perspective, let's see what is crisis. A number of events or circumstances can be considered as crisis. It can be life-threatening situations such as natural disasters such as earthquake or tornado or flood. Okay, in Assam, we get a lot of flood. Next is sexual assault or other criminal victimization, maybe a rape victim. Okay, it can be a medical illness, which can be cancer or it can be AIDS, etc. Or even corona during this corona pandemic situation, even coronavirus or COVID-19. Mental illness when people have a lot of have some mental illness like mental retardation, intelligence. Intellectual difficulties or any kind of anxiety disorders or obsessive compulsive disorders or schizophrenia or autism. So all this kind of mental illness, if it is there, it's a crisis. Next is thoughts of suicide or homicide. So even thoughts of suicide or homicide can be called a crisis. If and homicide means doing murder. Suicide and murder are both thoughts. The thoughts of just having suicide, doing suicide or doing some kind of murder can also be a crisis situation. And loss of drastic changes in relationships, or maybe a death of a loved one, or separation or divorce, for example. So all this can be crisis, can be called as crisis. So there are types of crisis. There are three types of crisis. That means that is maturational or developmental crisis. Next is situational crisis. And the third one is adventitious crisis. Let's look into it in a more detailed way. So developmental crisis is also referred as maturational or internal crisis. It may occur at any transitional period or in a normal growth and development. So even during the, when from a childhood we delve into adolescence, or from adolescence we delve into being adults. So that also can become an internal crisis because at times we do not know what to do. Right? So the transitional periods where individuals move into a successive stage often generate disequilibrium. Right. So things we are doing in childhood may not be doing it in adolescent. Things which are very much normal to you to deal with in adolescence may not be that normal in during the adult period. So that is so at that time you can experience crisis. So individuals are required to make more cognitive and behavioral changes that accompany development. Precipitate factors are normal stress or development. So for example, adolescence, retirement, marriage, or parenthood. So as I've already taken the example of adolescence, when people come to adolescence, that means we undergo various cognitive and behavioral changes. So that can become a crisis. Okay, even after retirement, when you stop going to workplace, right? So at that time also that disequilibrium comes in, which can lead into developmental crisis. Even such example can be marriage also. When you enter into marriage or when you enter into parenthood, then also it becomes a crisis if you feel it. Okay, if somebody feels it as a crisis, then it is up to them. For some people, it may not be. Next is situational crisis. So what is this situational crisis? It is also called as accidental or external crisis. It is a response to a sudden and unavoidable traumatic event that largely affects a person's identity and roles. So for basic example, uh, uh, events that can participate situational crisis are sudden traumatic event. For example, unexpected job loss. Suppose you are fired from your job. Okay, starting tomorrow. So that can become a situational crisis for you. For example, serious car accidents. These are some things which are unexpected, right? A car accident can happen to anyone at any time, but it cannot be predicted, right? So serious car accidents can also be a example of situational crisis. Next is sudden loss of spouse. Okay, when you are married and if there is your loved one, that is your spouse, may encounter sudden loss of life. So at that time also you delve into situational crisis. Next is academic failure. When you fail in a subject or you have a backlog in your subject, that also becomes a situational crisis for people. Birth of a child or disability or a diagnosis with a chronic or terminal illness can also be situational crisis. It affects how people perceive themselves. So it depends on person to person, and it can become a very stressful event during this crisis period. Next is adventitious crisis. It is also known as social crisis. So social crisis is accidental, uncommon, and unanticipated, and result in multiple losses and radical environmental changes. So when you have an accidental or uncommon or unanticipated or unexpected result, unexpected environmental change, then also it can become adventitious crisis. An adventitious crisis occurs outside the person's precipitated by an unexpected event. For example, a natural disaster, a flash flood, or fire in your house, or sometimes even war or battle. So if these kind of situations are making you fall into crisis, that means you are having an adventitious crisis. Natural disasters are very much common in Northeast India, where people are regular victims of flood, fire, or natural disasters like earthquake. So uh, it can become a social crisis or an adventitious crisis. These crises affect many people who experience both acute and post-traumatic stress reactions. So anyone who has post-traumatic stress disorder can also go through this kind of adventitious crisis. This type of crisis is unlike maturational and situational crisis because it doesn't occur in the lives of all people. So every people may not experience this kind of crisis, but generally situational or maturational crisis, people actually experience those kind of crisis at some point of time anyhow. But adventitious crisis, it can be experienced by some people but not all people. Okay, that is the basic difference. So let's see what is crisis intervention. How do we intervene a crisis? Because crisis is a crisis. When crisis occurs, a person becomes dysfunctional. Okay, he cannot do social functioning normally. He cannot function well in the society, right? So it is very much important for a caseworker or a medical psychiatric social worker to do crisis intervention. So crisis intervention is an immediate and short-term psychological care aimed at assisting individuals in a crisis situation in order to restore equilibrium to their biopsychosocial functioning and to minimize the potential of long-term psychological trauma. So two things they do. Okay, it's basically a short-term psychological care aimed at a person who is having a crisis situation. It can be any type of crisis situation, maybe adventitious or maybe maturational or maybe developmental, right? So any kind of situation, an intervention can help. It can help in restoring equilibrium or balance to the psychosocial life of the client, and it can also minimize having it in a long-term psychological trauma. You cannot, I mean, for future also you can be potentially prevented. Crisis situation can be in the form of natural disasters, severe physical injury, sudden death of a loved one, and specific emotional crisis as a result of drastic transitions such as divorce, children leaving home, pregnancy, family, and school violence. So we have all discussed this in the types of crisis. So crisis situations can be in these all forms. So crisis intervention refers to the methods used to offer immediate short-term help to individuals who experience an event that produces emotional, mental, physical, and behavioral distress or problems. So this is what basic definition is of crisis intervention. It basically refers to the method used to offer immediate or short-term help to individuals who experience an event or a situation or a crisis that produces a lot of emotional, mental, physical, and behavioral distress or problems or issues. Okay, so this is basically what crisis intervention is. So goals of crisis intervention, there are two most important goals, that is to decrease emotional stress and protect the crisis victim from additional stress. So a crisis victim is obviously going through a lot of stress. So this so when we do crisis intervention, it actually helps the client to decrease their emotional stress somewhat. Okay, and to also protect the victim from additional stress, like any additional stress if it occurs, that also it can be protected or prevented. Second one is to assist the victim in organizing and mobilizing resources or support system to meet unique needs and reach a solution for the particular situation that precipitated the crisis. So it is basically to assist the victim or the client in organizing and mobilizing the resources. It can be resources, can be internal or can be external, or we can also provide support system for the client to meet the unique needs or the basic needs and to reach a solution for the particular situation or the crisis. Okay. So what are the aim and purpose of crisis intervention? The aim is to assist the individual in recovery from crisis and to prevent serious long-term problems. So the basic aim of crisis intervention is to is to recover them, right, from the crisis somehow or the other, and also to prevent serious long-term problems due to the crisis. Okay. What is the purpose of crisis intervention? It is very much similar to the goal. It is to reduce the intensity of individuals' emotional, mental, physical, and behavioral reactions to a crisis. You know, someone with a behavioral crisis someone with a crisis can show a lot of emotional, mental, physical, and behavioral reactions. So, in order to reduce the intensity, crisis intervention is done. Next one is to help the individuals return to their level of functioning before the crisis. So it is very much important for the individual to go back to the situation where there was no crisis. Okay, then only the crisis can be averted. Functioning may be improved by developing new coping skills and eliminating ineffective ways of coping, such as withdrawal, isolation, and substance abuse. So in this way, the individual is better equipped to cope with future difficulties. So functioning may be improved by developing new coping skills. Okay, that coping skills we have already studied in stress. So if we can do new coping skills for the client, and it can eliminate ineffective ways of coping, such as all we have also studied about negative coping, right? So those negative coping are ineffective ways of coping, and we can also add withdrawal symptoms. We can also add isolation from people, and we can add substance abuse. We can also add, alcohol use, or nicotine use, tobacco use. So all this. So in this way, the individual is better equipped to cope with future difficulties. So we have to make them go through coping with positive. We have to make them undergo positive coping so that they can avert the crisis. So this was the basic aim and purpose of crisis intervention. We have learned here what is crisis, what are the types of crisis, and what are the goals, and what are crisis intervention, and what are the goals and aims and purpose of crisis intervention. For the conclusion, let's wait for the next video. Thank you so much.